Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while since I've had to do a video like this. Essentially, going to be talking about a specific VTuber. Again, in fact, the exact same VTuber I spoke about in 2023, BloodredSakura. First thing we're going to just jump straight into is the way she treated people that used to be her friends. Bear in mind, I'm saying used to be. For those of you that don't know, she had three people that were regularly in her streams. I won't say names for the sake of, keeping things private. Things obviously went down south. They're no longer in the streams anymore when they do happen. There is reasons behind it, and the reasons are straight up simply BloodredSakura's attitude. She made it so that the streams were never really fun for people in regards to those that were with her for the streams. They always felt restricted. For example, during one stream, which she has uploaded to her YouTube, but the thing is that she's edited it to take out the part that I'm going to be talking about, but I did see the streams. Essentially, a couple of them was just having a bit of banter. Um, sort of like in a joke of their own, like inner circle, which BloodredSakura did not appreciate all that well. To the point where they straight up threatened to kick them all and straight up cut them all out of their life if they didn't stop the jokes. I find to be rather extreme. Like, they're just trying to have a bit of fun. Like, these are the people that have been in your streams constantly. They've always been the ones that help bring people in because they're the ones that try to keep things entertaining. Because, yes, she is a rather dull person. She has always required other people to be in the streams with her. She has not once ever been fully alone for an entire stream. I used to be a part of that at one point back in the early days of her streams. I was a part of that. You can actually see those streams on her YouTube channel. That's just one of the many things. One of them did decide to tell me some stuff from back when they were younger, because one of those people was someone that she used to know back in high school. Essentially, they draw together from time to time, just as like a fun little projects to do and stuff. And BloodredSakura would use bases. Not necessarily a bad thing if you're in high school trying to learn how to draw and stuff. I'm not gonna shit on her for that because, I mean, I can't draw, so. But the main issue here is that the other person would draw from scratch, so no bases, nothing. And BloodredSakura would accuse said person of using her art. And then BloodredSakura would tell others that, that the person forced them to draw and stuff like that, and that's not what the person did in the slightest. Not once did they ever force them to draw, not once did they ever force them to really do anything. So it shows that even at a young age, BloodredSakura was manipulative, would twist information to make her seem like the victim at any given point that she wanted to, just to try and gain sympathy. Yeah, that's not a good trait to have. That's actually kind of toxic. Eventually, they stopped talking. But we'll get into this second incident that the person told me about. This one is a bit of a touchy subject for the person, and another reason why I'm also not saying names, because I don't want anybody to like try and say anything. Essentially, this person that was her friend back in high school. At one point, they went to a convention. However, after the con, they all wanted to go and get food. However, her friend did not. She was just extremely tired. She wanted to just most likely just go home and relax and sort of decompress after a convention, which is completely fair. But she feels like she should have said no, but she didn't. She was exhausted and she went anyway. She wanted to try and stay at the back of the group, you know, try not cause any issues or anything, because she wasn't feeling the greatest. Bear in mind, like, you can't always tell if someone's having problems because most of the time it is like mental problems. So just keep that in mind, folks. So they just didn't want to cause any problems for the group. They didn't want to try and they didn't want to ruin the fun or anything like that. So they stayed at the back. Obviously they had one person walking with them, that was a good friend of theirs. Another person who like checked in on them, which was really nice. Not long after, they'd obviously gone to a hotel room. Their anxiety was bad, and they just wanted to leave the group. Like, they wanted to just be left by themselves. So I told the group to just, like, you know, leave them alone, which the group did. However, BloodredSakura did not, and kept trying to get this person out of the room. When it came to the final day of the con, this person with the anxiety and stuff were the only ones with a bag. So everybody, like, you know, she allowed everybody to put stuff in the bag and said, you know, if you need anything, just let me know. Which is fair, because, like, the last thing you want is someone just reaching in, taking something without you knowing, because then you're gonna panic. BloodredSakura, on the other hand, didn't really seem to care. They just stuck their hand into the bag to try and get some. Immediately the person backed away, because at the end of the day they didn't follow what was said, and BloodredSakura immediately looked at the person as though they were the one being reasonable, when that's not the case. But it turns out years after that trip, the person came to find out that BloodredSakura believed that the person with the anxiety was the one to ruin the entire trip. BloodredSakura did not care, and therefore kept saying that, you know, this person ruined the trip. Which is honestly quite disgusting in my opinion. They eventually just stopped talking. They eventually got back into touch and tried to, like, put things behind them. However, BloodredSakura would always, you know, if those like things ever came off, BloodredSakura would always just say, oh well, we're both at fault, sort of thing. BloodredSakura was very manipulative. She liked to lie. She even decided to sort of say that she had the same mental issues as that person. Chances are she was noticing, like, the attention that the person was getting, you know, from the friends and stuff, you know, being checked on. And I probably wanted to bear that attention to themselves as well. Not once, like, according to the person here, not once did they ever really see BloodredSakura ever have to deal with those issues. They were always very, you know, bubbly and upbeat. And as I say, bear in mind, they were really good friends when they were kids, so chances are they would have probably seen if they were dealing with that stuff at some point. BloodredSakura then sort of took, you know, this person's story of a friend taking their friends away. BloodredSakura said that this person did it when really the person never decided to take anybody's friends away. If anything, she was the one that had friends taken away from her due to BloodredSakura. It clearly wasn't the greatest of friendships back in high school, and it clearly didn't improve in adulthood either. So it's safe to say that she's been like the way she is for a long time. As for why, we're not entirely sure. It could very well be due to maybe how her parents raised her. Some people do just become the products of childhood and stay that way forever, which is unfortunate. At which case, some of the blame does go onto the parents. I'm not going to say that is the case, but it is a possibility. The next thing we're going to talk about is her current relationships, as well as also a couple of things before that. So, whilst I was friends with her, I was aware of one person that had a crush on her. We'll just call him T. But T is transgender, going from male to female. And they had a huge crush on BloodredSakura. Even went to a convention with them back in, I think, the early part of 2023. Decided to essentially like confess their feelings for her. I was well aware of the crush even before it happened. They were also a part of my D&D group. But eventually when T did end up confessing their feelings to BloodredSakura, she was turned down. Lately, I think like last year, another person decided to confess her feelings. She has actually gone ahead and admitted that said person, like BloodredSakura, had said on stream that, you know, this person had admitted their feelings. Again, this is someone in England, like, and so, you know, same country as BloodredSakura, and, you know, is also transgender, male to female. We'll just call this person TP. TP had confessed their feelings in, I think, 2025, got turned down, being told that BloodredSakura isn't ready for a relationship, which that is fine. Not long afterwards, I'd say at least a couple of months later, they got into a relationship with a cisgender male who is 19 and is in America. That leads me straight into my next point. They're dating a cisgender male who is 19, so he's barely legal, and he lives over the ocean in America. For those of you that do watch her streams, you'll know who this is. It is Crimson Embers, aka Sen. And bear in mind, BloodredSakura is turning 25 this year, and she has gone ahead, turned down two people who are fully grown adults and, you know, are in their 20s and are in the same country, and as I will say, transgender, to instead be with a cisgender male who is 19. He's not even in his 20 years, and he lives overseas. They will never meet, and it's extremely concerning for two reasons. One is the obvious fact that he's known BloodredSakura since he was 17. It makes me question how long they've been together, because how long they've been together could very well be different from how long they've been public together. It is a case of this relationship could very well be parasocial, and B, is very clearly predatory. He was 17 when they first met, which is like 2 years ago. Depending on when his birthday is, maybe 3. He was underage when they first started talking. It's a very clear like parasocial, and also very predatory because she's a full-grown adult dating a teenager. I know people will say, oh, he's 19, he's of legal age. Right, yeah, go ahead, say that. But bear in mind, his brain is not fully developed. A person's brain doesn't fully develop until they're 21. So I don't think he fully realizes what the situation is. And I'm hoping to God that this kind of, if he somehow comes across this video, he'll start to realize that. But it does also come on to point 2. She's gone ahead and she straight up turned down 2 transgender people. One back in like 2023. One literally just last year. And then a couple months after the last one, publicly announces that she's dating Sen. I don't want to assume, okay? Because they say that they're panromantic, asexual. And that's completely fine. But when you willingly choose to say that you are not ready for a relationship to 2 transgender people, one of them literally being a couple months ago, and then you announce that you are dating a cisgender male and that you're suddenly, ready for a relationship, it comes across as transphobic. Now again, don't want to assume. But if you're ready for a relationship, wouldn't you want to go for someone who's in your country and has feelings for you? I'm actually going to move away from BloodredSakura just for a teeny bit for this next section. And we're going to focus on him. We're going to focus on Sen for a bit. The thing with Sen that I want to talk about is his attitude. He's very manipulative in a sense. He's very defensive. He doesn't really think about what he's saying. And because of his relationship with BloodredSakura, he's lost some friends. He's even lost a friend that literally introduced them. Clearly just for the hope of being friends, but obviously it progressed to more than that. Yeah, and then another person who was part of BloodredSakura server, who was a friend of Sen, has also left completely and is no longer a part of that server. I've not seen them in any other streams. I think chances are what happened there was that friend had said something about BloodredSakura and was just immediately booted. In regards to the person that introduced them, I will say this. It's the same person that I mentioned in point 1, the one that would do the banter during one of the streams and was threatened to have cut out of BloodredSakura's life. I was in video call with them at one point, sorry, not video call, voice call, on Discord, and they had told me something that is honestly kind of disturbing at one point, and I feel like it was not long after that situation had arose with the banter. They implied with a gif of somebody shooting a person with the caption of the gif being, "This is how I feel about such and such." Again, I'm not going to name the person's name here. So yeah, just simply due to that situation, or maybe due to someone else, Sen wanted to shoot the person. And I want to just state this real quick. The person is a recovering cancer patient. They're currently going through chemotherapy. Just let that sink in. The guy is okay and willing to kill a cancer patient because of the fact that they said something or just had a bit of banter that BloodredSakura didn't like. It's very extreme. the exact same stream where said person was having banter with one of the other people. That is also, as I say, on YouTube, but it has been scrubbed clean of that incident. But one thing that hasn't been scrubbed off that video is when they were, just doing questions on a board. They ended up getting a question saying, where would you like to go? Like, where would you go if you could travel back in time? And Sen decided to say, I'd go back in time to, like, BloodredSakura's first partner and beat the hell out of them. Like, that's his first thought to traveling back in time. Not like, I don't know, wanting to see, like, ancient Egypt or something. No, it's to go ahead and beat up somebody who was a teenager at the time. He doesn't think logically. He's just thinking, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna look tough for Saki and she'll want to stay with me. It's that very teenage jock mentality of I've gotta be strong. And when really, no, that's coming off as toxic and manipulative, in a sense. Just the fact that he's okay with admitting that he wants to beat someone up or saying that he feels like shooting a cancer patient. Sen is definitely not the best person, which is very clear. He's also a bit of an enabler. BloodredSakura lately has had trouble sleeping, and when she does sleep, it's throughout the entire day. Rather than trying to wake her up or try to get her onto a proper sleep schedule or anything like that, he's completely fine with it. He just goes ahead and lets her do whatever the hell she wants. Never reminds her to eat. Yeah, he sort of enables these very bad behaviors. And it's not ideal, because it means that BloodredSakura isn't really getting what she needs. She needs a proper sleep schedule. She needs to actually eat. And she's never really done any of them. But the fact that he enables it shows that he doesn't really care all that much about trying to help in that regard. We're going to get away from Sen. I've said as much as I can in regards to him as for what, I've seen and, discovered. The last thing we're going to talk about is her attitude towards her family. Very childish behavior. And honestly, probably the most concerning part of all. For those that have seen BloodredSakura streams, you'll obviously know of Bloodred Papa and Bloodred Mama. Obviously, these are BloodredSakura's IRL parents, and her attitude towards them is just vile in every way possible. BloodredSakura, as I say, literally does nothing. She doesn't eat. She doesn't sleep. And she doesn't cook for herself. On the rare chance that she does eat, it's either a takeaway or it's like maybe her mum getting her some food or her dad making her a bit of food. Like, she's a grown-ass 24, soon to be 25-year-old person, and they don't do anything. Like, not once have I ever heard them say that they do the cooking. And it's honestly ridiculous. I remember in one of the streams recently that she literally asked if she could order like a bottle of pop because she just simply wanted a bottle of pop. Bear in mind, this was at like maybe 11 o'clock at night, maybe later. Not many places are open around that time, and certainly none of them are going to just do an order for a single bottle of pop. And because her parents said no, strictly for the same reason as I've just said, no one's gonna do an order like that. Like, no one's gonna deliver an order like that. She essentially went into a hissy fit and decided to end the stream. A lot of people would say, oh, she had a meltdown and stuff because she couldn't, like, get something that she feels she needed. No, it was a tantrum. It was a very childish tantrum simply because she couldn't get something that she wanted. It's honestly very concerning. She's so heavily dependent on her parents still at this age, and it's really concerning. She has like 10 or more pets. She cannot take care of them. She's unable to look after herself, and yet she also decides to have the gall to essentially have her mum and dad do everything. Like, there are times, like back when I was friends with her, that I saw her mum cleaning out the pets, like the rabbit and the guinea pigs. And as I said in my last video, her mother has medical problems that affect her physical movement. So that poor woman had to essentially clean out cages that are on the floor because her daughter, because, you know, BloodredSakura wasn't willing to. And it drives me insane that she feels like she can have 10 or more pets in that house. And the thing is that when one of them dies, she just gets like maybe 1 or 2 more. It's not healthy. The entire house stinks of animal. There isn't a room in there that stinks like a regular person lives there. No, it's just pure animal. This isn't some of that I've noted down, but some of that I feel needs to be spoken about. Her trauma. Holy hell. She apparently has a lot of trauma. Okay, I get it. Yeah, people have trauma. And I'm never going to downplay that. I myself have trauma. For her, she doesn't have her story straight. In regards to her fear for fire, which is apparently one of her traumas, there are like 3 different stories that have been told for why she has that. One of which was she was nearly burned by a Bunsen burner in high school. Another one was that she was ambushed and nearly set on flame by, you know, people that she walks past to get home. And then another one was that she's saw like the caravan or the house or whatever behind her house be set aflame.
So close to our garden. Oh, they're putting it out now. I don't know, but
No one in a high school is really going to go ahead and set people on fire. Like, A, they're doing that in a classroom which is full of people. Teachers would automatically attempt to stop that. In regards to the, you know, someone trying to, like, people ambushing her. Again, if it's after school, there's a lot of people that are probably walking by. It's not really going to go unnoticed. And also, something like that here in England would end up on the news or in the newspaper. And nothing like that ever happened. The place round back getting set on fire. Okay, yeah. But the one thing there is, it was nowhere near your house to potentially, you know, set your place or even the slightest inch of your garden on fire. Her whole fear of fire and having trauma from it is completely irrational and also fake for the sake of trying to get sympathy from people and shit like that. You know, which then kind of takes the piss out of those with actual trauma, you know, those that have literally nearly died from what they suffered from to end up with trauma. For example, for me, I was in a car crash. It's one of the reasons why I hate getting on any type of transportation, and also why I don't have the desire to drive. I literally have to try and find ways around if I absolutely have to get into a public, like if I have to get into any sort of vehicle. Otherwise, I just won't do it. But for her, it's just, she just does it for the sake of trying to get some sort of sympathy or empathy from her viewers or those that are in the stream with her. That's never a good thing, because when people find out, like for example those that decide to actually watch this video, you're gonna see that it's just gonna backfire badly. People always have a way of finding out one way or another. The internet is about for a reason. That's the main focal point of this video. There's just one thing I want to say. So as I pointed out earlier, BloodredSakura has never been in a stream by herself, fully. She's been in parts of streams by herself, but then suddenly somebody does join. Most of the time it's her partner, Sen. Other times it's TP, because yes, TP still hangs out with them after basically being denied and lied to, saying that, you know, they're not ready for a relationship. And other times she streams with her family, which is honestly, those are the worst streams. She has literally like done 1 hour streams with her parents, and those streams have ended due to Bloodred Mama wanting to do some, trying to get Saki to do it, well, BloodredSakura to do it, and then BloodredSakura basically like not wanting to do it and having to go at Bloodred Mama, and therefore it just causes drama and the stream just ends. It's not a healthy dynamic. It's not healthy in that household. She needs help, and personally, I don't think a person like that should stream, because it clearly doesn't really actually make them happy. I get that they feel as though they don't, like, they want to do something. Fine. Get a job. Because, I'm sorry, you don't really have trauma. You may have anxiety. Fair enough. A lot of people do. Not once has BloodredSakura actually worked a job. And not once have they even tried to find a job. There's nothing really all that wrong with them. They may have a couple of mental health problems, but it's nothing that would stop them from working. Yeah, they should actually be trying to find a job. And in regards to that, they should also actually try to find a way to make money, and also try to essentially think of ways to be able to take care of themselves, or if needs be, actually get help, because they cannot rely on their mother and father for so long. Because here's the main thing. Once Bloodred Mama and Bloodred Papa pass away, or, you know, heaven forbid, I don't wish this for anybody, but if something does happen to them sometime soon, and BloodredSakura is left to fend for herself, what exactly is she going to do? She can't cook. She doesn't look after herself. She would essentially end up just being a danger to herself due to just neglecting herself. It's something that needs to be brought into perspective here. She's thinking of quitting anyway, as of recently, as I've seen on her, in her Discord and on her Twitter. She is actually thinking of quitting streaming. If she sees this, or somebody who knows her sees this, please, BloodredSakura, actually stop. I don't say this out of malice. I say it because it would be beneficial to you. You wouldn't be causing yourself stress, you wouldn't be causing yourself anxiety. You'd actually have time to focus on yourself. But right now, you're not really doing anything that's beneficial to you. You're not looking after yourself. You don't even stream all that much anymore. And when you do, you either somehow get triggered by something, or you end up just arguing with your parents and just ending stream. Either way, none of it really puts you in a good light. So it's more of a detriment to your mental health than it is beneficial. Normally I wouldn't say for people to quit streaming. Like, I know it's difficult, especially if it's literally the only way for you to get a creative outlet out. It's the same for me with streaming. It's a creative outlet for me. And so, to be fair, so is D&D. But it's a case of you need to put your health first. If you are not happy, you are not looking after yourself because things aren't going well with your streams, or your mental health is just that shit and you're just using streaming as an excuse to do something, then you really need to think otherwise, because health should always come first. Because at the end of the day, you need health. You genuinely do. You're arguing with your parents. You're essentially dating a 9-year-old in America. I don't know how you've not realized that whilst yes, legally is okay, barely, but morally is kind of disgusting. Especially as we don't know when you started dating. I'm saying 19 because that's like the age he was when you admitted to dating. I don't know if you dated before that or something. But yeah, it's not ideal and it's very parasocial and very predatory. You aren't really gonna be seeing each other in person anytime soon, if at all. So even that relationship for you isn't good. And considering he's lost friends due to how he is about you in regards to, you know, the toxic behavior towards people that used to be his friends, it's not good for you either. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here before I waffle on. I'll be having somebody edit this down to cut out any waffling or anything like that. I just want to let you know that I stream. I've just cut out the layouts, I've cut out my PNG model because I don't want this to be associated with my streams. My streams are a happy place. Like, my streams are to bring comfort, or to at least just be, you know, as some people have said before, just background noise for them to enjoy. I hope you all have a good day. And as I said, yeah, this is the truth about BloodredSakura. On the very, very slim chance that you watch this BloodredSakura, please get some help. Because if you don't, and if, you know, as I say, heaven forbid something happens, you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life. Bye, everybody.
Oh, I'm not waiting. I started the setup. They saw me start the setup, and they were still there. They had half an hour. I'm starting.